Hello, it is Friday, March 5th, 2010, and this is your daily dose of reptile news. This Saturday, Arcata's Museum of Natural History will be holding its final event. The museum was closed due to budget cuts, but remained available for class field trips and stuff like that. This Saturday, it will hold its final event for the HSU herpetology class. An Australian woman is recovering in the hospital today after being bitten by a western brown snake. The woman was hanging out her clothing when the snake jumped out from underneath her laundry basket and bit her. So, did she A, call 911 when she was bitten by one of the most venomous snakes in the world? B, get in the car and rush herself to the hospital? C, call a neighbor for help? Or D, none of the above? If you guess D, you were right. She finished her chores and finished baking a cake, at which time she then sought medical treatment. She says that she should now buy a lottery ticket because of how lucky she was, believing that she had only received a scratch when she actually was envenomated by the snake. Many of you may remember me reporting a while back, I don't exactly remember the date, but a while back about Utah tossing out a law that made it illegal for their residents to keep rattlesnakes as pets. Well, the board apparently yesterday unanimously voted against that proposal, so it is still, and in the near future, still illegal to keep rattlesnakes in Utah. Dartmouth biologists released an interesting study about brown and owls. Apparently, the females mate with several males, and this is a interesting fact. I've kept these lizards many times before and never knew this, but I don't know how they figured it out. But anyway, they determined that the females retain the sperm from the larger males to have other baby males, and retain the sperm from the smaller males for the baby females. That was actually pretty interesting. I got the link up in the sidebar with the rest of them. Check out that study. It's pretty neat. Dr. Robert Johnson, president of the Australian Veterinary Association's Unusual and Exotic Pet Special Interest Group, says that lizards are becoming hugely popular. He says that Australia has a $60 million a year pet trade, and lizards are becoming very popular among pet owners because of their small cage requirements, making them ideal for apartment living, and that they take a lot less maintenance than some other animals. He also states that keeping lizards, or any reptile for that matter, in Australia, there are licenses required. I agree but disagree. I think lizards make very interesting pets. They're a lot more social than people may think, but I completely disagree with them being lower maintenance than other pets. I believe that's why so many of them, so many exotic lizards, snakes, and pets in general are let go, flushed down the toilet, thrown in the freezer, turned into the shelter, because people thought they were going to be a lot less maintenance than they really were. It's very interesting, the iguana trade nowadays, for example. I kind of give our local pet store a hard time when they sell iguanas, because the industry is so saturated with them. And I remember my first iguana, it was the ideal lizard that did end up dying because I didn't know how to care for it. And if you add, even though they're pretty simple to care for, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to care for an iguana. if you take just the baseline cost in the space caging requirements, food, the UV lighting, and then the time for taming. I mean, nobody wants a 6-foot lizard clawing the shit out of their arm. So taming is a requirement for a lizard that size, if you ask me. It takes a lot more than people think. It really does. And that's probably why there's so many of them running wild down in Florida and sitting in the shelters waiting for adoption. And, well, on a little side note, they're pretty ugly too. I mean, they're cute when they're babies, but they don't look like that forever. And you see in the picture up here Lola Oxley holding a 130 centimeter long dead brown snake. Her husband, bird breeder John Oxley, found this snake in one of his bird boxes. Go figure. John saw all the birds out of the box and decided he would take an opportunity to clean the boxes while all the birds were out and freshen up the nesting material. It's always a good thing to do when you have the opportunity. He proceeded to stick his hand inside the box when he noticed a snake move. John admittedly in the article hates snakes and says it sent shivers down his spine. He later found the snake coiled up with all the birds squawking and making a big fuss trying to scare it away. He believes that the snake got in through the border, which has become weathered and worn through the years. Since then, John says that the border around his aviary has all been replaced and he's sure it's vermin proof now. That's good. We don't want any brown snakes eating all your birds. Unless you get it on video, put it on YouTube. I'd like to see that. Anyway, people, that's all the news for today. I went out and spent all day out filming yesterday, and I was actually a little bit disappointed. If you check the sidebar, second link from the bottom, my latest vlog entry was right out there on location. And, you know, I was probably there for 6 or 7 hours straight and really got nothing done. Nothing done. I'm not even sure I can say it was a third day of filming because there was no usable footage. So, I don't know. I hadn't planned on doing it anymore this week. I'm not going out and filming when it's raining, and it's supposed to be raining, but today all the jackass weathermen and weatherwomen decided to change their mind and say it's supposed to be pretty nice here through the weekend. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be able to fit it in, maybe not. But anyway, I digress. That is all the news for today. If you'd like to read any more about any of these stories or see the pictures or anything, they're in the forum. Links are in the sidebar right there. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, leave a video response, and your question for Friday, March 5th, 2010 is: how important do you think museums are to our children or adults, for that matter? For the educational purpose and the opportunities that they present, how important do you think they are? I personally believe that they're very, very important, and it troubles me to hear of one shutting down due to budget cuts, especially. You know, they need to cut the budget to these things so they can afford their $20,000 toilet seats, but that's a whole nother YouTube channel. So anyway, leave a text, comment, or a video response with your answer, and be good to each other.